Welcome to episode 2 of my podcast on YouTube. I'm here with a special guest. His name is Barry, but known to me as Dad, because he is my dad. And you can probably tell because we look so much alike. So, I shouldn't move this camera. He has decided to do this interview with me. And the same as before, I have a bowl of subjects which I have gone through with him and made sure he's comfortable with. And I've said to you, you can talk as little as much as you want. He's already picked the first one out by the looks of it. So before we get started, actually, do you want to give our audience a brief description of what disabilities you're comfortable talking about so they can get to know you? So what disabilities do you have?
Obviously, you've got a race.
Yeah, that brittle bones disease. Yeah, okay. And diabetes? Yeah, okay, cool. Are they the ones you want to talk about today?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the first one you got was home management. So that's things like cleaning, cooking, that kind of thing.
Up until about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was able to do a lot more than I can. I wasn't able to sort of get in and do more.
So things got worse as time went on,
Yes, so
and things changed a lot.
yeah, my diabetes got quite severe at the moment. And things had an effect with can do what I can't do.
Right. Okay. So you don't do anything in the home? Is it too difficult?
No, it's true.
Okay. And someone help you with that? Do you get the support you need for that?
I get as much support as I need with regard to anything I need personally, but I mean, with regard to doing things, with all the support in the world, it's just something I'm no longer able to do.
Yeah, so you get somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, fortunately, yeah.
And cook your meals and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everything you want to say on the subject? You're welcome to pick another one.
There was another one. Okay.
They're like little raffle tickets.
Relations.
Ah, okay. So you've got sex and relationships. So that is like, how did it affect you when you were dating and that kind of thing?
Well, did have a few on sort of relationships when I was younger, nothing serious, but I was only young myself.
Yeah.
Obviously, with regard to the sexual side of it, that didn't come to later in life. It was all, when I was younger, it was all innocent and,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Particular person I've got in mind, I won't mention her name.
No.
She said that she would like to be with me, but because of my condition, she wouldn't cope. So,
Yeah.
that was the main reason she said, she's just not strong enough to be with me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I accept that. That's what she thinks.
Was that a difficult thing to hear, though?
Yes and no, really. Well, it was and it weren't, because obviously, with my condition being in mind, I suppose it takes somebody strong it has to be someone strong-willed that can know they can
cope with
to deal with it, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, she wasn't, and she was honest enough to tell me that. So that's fine.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot because I think if I got into a relationship again, I wouldn't expect them to look after me, essentially. I'd probably want to get some carers out to support me that way.
Yeah.
Because I think it's unfair to put that on people if they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has to be like, if you date me, you have to do this, that, and everything else. I don't think it has to be like that. But I can understand that it's daunting, isn't it, to think that that's going to be your future. But also hard to hear as a disabled person, I suppose, as well, because it's not your fault that you're in that situation either.
Well, no, the reality of it is, well, someone says it to you, and you have to say, well, we see how you've not got the strength to do it.
Yeah. Because it's not just about, like, what they'd have to do for you, but also what they have to see as well, isn't it? Because like when we fracture and stuff, it can be quite traumatic for both us and yourself.
Yeah, the person.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've fractured in front of friends and absolutely freaked them out. So yeah, because I remember one time I was at a friend's house and I had a really bad fracture there. And everyone just stood and looked at me. I was gobsmacked and didn't know what to do. It was just a massive.
Okay.
I
think that's made it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, was there any assumptions growing up that you didn't want a relationship or that you weren't interested in it because you were disabled?
No.
No. I mean, that might be quite a new thing now, but it seems to be quite common that people think people with disabilities are not after any kind of relationship, companionship, or sexual relationship.
I never really thought of it in them terms. I just, like everybody else, as you grow up, you go through this, that, and the other changes, and then you move on to that kind of thing. Past and present.
Yeah, that's work. I think you've got that. Yeah.
Done. I've worked for the local council. I've worked for an I started at 16 working for an insurance company in Dover, Co-op Insurance. And then I came out of there. I worked for Dover District Council. I moved away in 1980, I think it was. Moved away in 1980. And I did some college up there. Then I came back. Because up there for 6 months, and I came back. So I was granddad, or my dad. He was very well. Colin wasn't living with him, so I didn't like him being on his own.
Right.
So I came home. I had to disband what I was doing up there and come back. That's where I met your mum, because she was my neighbour.
Okay.
We sort of just got to know each other as neighbours, and then just grew from there.
How did you manage work? Was there any problems with, accessibility, or did you have any fractures that made it difficult?
Actually, the strange thing is, back then, my mobility was. To say I got this disability is quite weird because I was quite active.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used to be able to go stairs, steps, concrete steps, whatever. Never bothers me,
Yeah.
It's very strange and bizarre, but I could do most things then. But then gradually, as time went on and on, I kind of got, my health deteriorated as years progressed. I kind of got worse.
Got worse. But it is weird because I'm not in the same position, unfortunately.
No.
I deteriorated much quicker. But I mean, everybody's different, aren't they? And everyone's affected differently. I think because my spine as well, like that deteriorated really quickly as well with this condition. But that's why it's important people don't assume that one person's going to be exactly the same as the other person just because they've got the same condition.
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
No.
Yeah, you can pick another one.
Public
interactions and friendships.
Okay.
Right, so this will be like any of you should get out in the public, or how public have perceived you and the friendships that you've had. Have you had any negative friendships?
My first real friend was. Then I met some others that I teamed up with. Got to become friends with them. So I had a few friends out and about. With, and one of my friends used to go to his house, and he'd come to my house. Another one would stay over. Actually, quite often he'd stay over at my house, especially at weekends. And it was good. So yeah, I had friendships.
Did you have any negative experiences, like when people wanted to go out and stuff and you couldn't do it, and they were just like?
One for me was when my friends were going to concerts at like Wembley Arena and going to see the bands that I would love to see, and I knew I just couldn't. So it's hard for me to accept that, they say,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to, I don't know, Wembley or whatever to see um, whatever. And then I just couldn't go.
Right.
And that was hard. Oh, and then another one, particularly hard, was came to stay with us. His name was um, Andy.
Yeah.
And he was a nice lad. And then I got to know Andy, and he wanted me to go with him on the train that travels through Europe, all round
Okay.
Norway,
Yeah.
and he's going to take me with him, and I was quite excited about that. It's something I've never done and never likely to do again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all planned out. He was going to take me with him, and then week before that, unfortunately, I fell and I broke I think it's my top of my tibia.
Yeah.
Hence the fact that I could no longer go.
Right.
So that really upset me.
Yeah. Did your friends understand your upset when you used to they used to go out, or did they just sort of
Most of
ignore
them
it and
did,
just
but
went?
one of them, well, I thought he was a friend. He's not a friend,
Yeah.
and I don't get quite what he meant because at first he was all right. He used to push me around and that,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden he just turned weird and
Yeah.
started being horrible.
Right. Okay.
I don't know why, but
Right. Do you think that was like embarrassment, or
I
just didn't know
don't.
how to handle it?
I don't know what come over him because at first he was all right, but then he just changed and became very bitter and
Mm.
I don't know. So I just, I didn't bother with him after that. I just kind of went my own way and left him out of it. But the other mates were all right with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was one particular occasion I remember when I was going up to see a friend of mine because we were meant to be going out to the new club together
Yeah.
that night. I only made it as far as, in fact, well, the chemist, as it
Mm-hmm.
was. And I tripped over a toll bar. So, yeah, and obviously I did again. I never did get to see my friend that day because obviously he
Oh,
ended up in
yeah.
hospital. I wasn't best pleased about that, and in fact, I was more than not just pleased, I was very angry because I was so looking forward to going out.
Yeah.
So they took me to Canterbury Hospital, and I remember going on to Kent Ward, and I really shouldn't have done it. I was really rude because I was so het up,
Mm.
and I was really rude to this male nurse.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been, but I was. Yeah, that was just my
Yeah.
frustration.
But people forget you're human, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're gonna get times where you do make those kind of
Yeah.
mistakes, and it is difficult to go from the mobility that you have, or whatever mobility that be, whether it's really
Yeah.
limited or what, to
Yeah.
completely no mobility at all.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah. So I can understand the frustration. It's difficult.
that's right. Yeah.
And at least you can see that was wrong and
Oh, I
reflect on it.
knew. Yeah, I knew. I shouldn't have said what I said. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, it wasn't his fault that I was there, but
Yeah.
just out of frustration because it's not what I wanted. I kind of just
Mm.
took it out on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's difficult though because it's not what you want. Sometimes it happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Happens at the worst times as well.
Yeah, it does. It tends to get you when you're not needing it, really, doesn't it? I
Yeah,
find.
that's right.
Okay.
Occasion, which is quite bizarre. I was in a car
Mm.
with somebody I knew, and we came up to a junction. She couldn't have checked the road very well because as she pulled out, we got hit by a lorry,
Right.
and the car actually turned, U-turned,
Yeah. Wow.
and I was pulled out of a window.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the hospital, crazy as it sounds, they X-rayed me totally, head to foot, nothing, no fracture.
Which is very weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
weird.
odd. Someone was on your side there, I think.
Must have been
Because
I
that
was,
is.
I was shocked. There's no breaks, nothing, just bruising.
I do think as well, though, it has something to do with how relaxed you are, or at least I've heard.
Yeah,
If you're all tensed up, it makes your bones a bit more fragile than if
Yeah.
you're relaxed and like
do
not
say-
expecting it. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true. So, and obviously it would have happened all of a sudden. You weren't expecting that to happen. So.
Well, exactly. We weren't expecting to get a crash, but we did.
Okay. Had any negative experiences with the public out shopping or doing anything when you're out with people?
Yeah, a few times I've had people when I've been shopping being rude to me or something like that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get that sometimes. I feel that it's children a lot, but it's not their fault. But what really annoys me is when parents don't explain. That irritates me because I think you're going to raise really ignorant adults.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is that the next generation are going to be ignorant and bullying because they don't understand
That's right.
as a young child, and that is the problem. And that please explain to your children, and it doesn't have to be obviously like full on. Oh, this person has this disability because you don't know, but you need to tell children there are people with difficulties out there. And not everybody is in the same box and the same.
Well, that's what they say in it. The cliche is if you teach your children a certain way, then they'll become that way in adult life.
Yeah, and that's really important to save people getting bullied in schools and in the workplace or just out and about in public.
Yeah.
Because even as an adult now, I've had like abuse, and it's been awful.
Yeah, you're right. Said right.
You feel like you can't just do something outside without getting some kind of abuse.
That's right.
I feel like I get doubly the abuse as well because of the way I dress.
Yeah.
So I usually bring that into it.
Well, I think that's just you, isn't it? That's the type of person you are. So. Well,
Some people
then it don't need to, does it? It's about you, isn't it? Not anybody else. So.
No. You get things like Satan worshipper and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's just stereotyping.
Yeah, exactly. We've got that now. Yeah.
Nutrition.
Nutrition.
So, has that affected you in any way? Because we've spoke about your diabetes as well, so you could talk about that.
My diabetes, I was diagnosed probably years ago now. Obviously, once I was diagnosed, that it was a case of putting me on the right medication and that kind of thing, and watch your diet, which I'm not particularly good at. I would say.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your mood affects what you eat as well?
Yeah. If I'm feeling really low, then I tend to crave more things that I shouldn't eat. And having a sweet tooth as well makes it harder.
If you can't exercise,
and that's another thing,
you're eating all of that, and you can't even ban it off, can you? You've got to be so much more careful because as a disabled person with limited or no mobility, you don't burn off the calories the same way.
No, exactly. And of course, the heavier you are, the more prone you are to fracture because of the weight.
Yeah.
You can't really win.
You can't win. No, it's a very difficult situation.
No.
It affects your pain as well. Like if you're heavier, it does affect your pain. It's not great to be heavy, but it's also really difficult not to be when you're not moving around. But it does put pressure on your limbs, which is why the doctors are always telling me I need to manage my weight better. But
it's all right for them to say that, but they're not the ones in your situation.
Yeah. Well, they've offered me the gastric band before. Sleep.
Oh no, it's an interesting.
Yeah. So how do you sleep with it?
Sleep now not particularly good. I don't sleep every night. Yeah, this is regardless of my situation I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In general. I don't sleep every night. It's due to my body, how my body feels and can't settle.
Yeah.
And I just keep turning and turning, hoping that eventually I will get some sleep. Some nights I'm awake most of the night because I can't settle, and my body's telling me, And
it's pain as well?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, because my pain flares up sometimes as well in the night.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to settle when you're in pain either.
That's
And you
it.
find that the medication doesn't always work.
Not anymore. And I mean, that's that pain I take.
Mm.
I take it, but to be fair, I don't know why I take it, because it does very little for me.
Mm.
So I take it because it's prescribed. But then
Yeah.
that's
So the
it.
thing is with opioids is that they're very addictive anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the best thing to give people, but then at the same time, there isn't anything that they'll give you. Oh, I understand that one. It's money as well. They chuck it at you because it makes money for the pharmaceutical
Well, yeah, of course it does. Yeah, they make lots of money out of it.
Yeah, so they hear that you're in pain.
That's why they won't.
That's
When
what
it
they do.
comes on the market,
Yeah.
that's cheap or whatever. They won't tell you, because they want to make as much money
As
as
possible.
they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way as you. I try not to take it but then I'm in pain all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't take it, you suffer. But then if you take it too much, you know that it's not going to work for you eventually. So it's that difficult situation, that one.
It's like a no-win situation, really. But you've got to just,
Yeah, take it in its...
I mean, they won't prescribe anything stronger for me, so... Right, well, we've got that here.
Accessibility.
Accessibility. Well, again, this is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, to reiterate what I said earlier, when I was younger, accessibility didn't seem to affect me very little anyway. Travelling, I could travel by bus, I could travel by train.
Yeah.
I used to walk to work and back. I could do most things. I could do everything else. It was.
Yeah, and to clarify, that's definitely not your situation now.
No,
No.
completely.
Yes. You're
completely transformed now. I'm
heavily reliant on a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I certainly don't like it when people push me around now. My power chair is my life, pretty much.
True. But
So
I think it's hard to know that when you're the type of person that could get around without any major problems,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you get to a point where you can no longer do that. Emotionally, it does have an effect, because you think to yourself, God, right, no, I can remember when I could do this, I can remember when I could do that, and I can't do it anymore, because then you didn't rely on anybody, because you could do it.
Yeah.
You did it. Now
it's not like
it's
that.
not like that. I have to rely on people so much now, that it's like completely transforms your life, really.
Yeah. Did you get any mental health support with that when things started to go like that, when things started to change?
No.
Because I think that's something that needs to be implemented,
Yeah, no, I've got nothing like that.
Yeah. I think there needs to be a sort of like, I don't know if it's like a support group or counselling or something for when people are going through that transition, because people don't realise what.
I think that's when my depression really started, when things started to turn. That's when it started to affect me mentally, because obviously it's so hard to accept something that.
Yeah, it's no longer part of you now.
Yeah, no longer. Well, what I can do.
I do think for the time that you were born and you lived, having the mobility then was more important than now, because things have changed a lot, and you can still, remain at a level of independence while using a wheelchair now, because there's a lot more adaptations that have been done in public transport, and I think it was 2010 Equality Act.
That's right, the Equality Act.
And then there was people protesting to make the buses and trains accessible, and it's still not where it needs to be, nowhere near, but a lot better.
Better than it was, quite possibly. But,
I mean, I was kind of, I think, born in the right time for the level that it has affected me, because if I was like the way I am now, then this wouldn't be my life.
Yeah. I also think another thing is, as I say to other people, being born when I was so early on in life, the things that they can do now for people with our condition,
Mm.
I've missed out on all of that because and then days they didn't have this technology or
The understanding.
the understanding of
Yeah.
anything like that. So it's just a question of, well, this boy's got OI. There's nothing we can do but keep an eye on him, and when he fractures, do what we can.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they can do so much more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they're looking into what causes it more, the genetics of
Yeah.
it, and how they're going to fix that, aren't they? Or what they can offer people now, which is nice.
Well, I think one
There's a whole
day they're going to
charity.
be able to just something like a laser or something.
Yeah.
That's going to be able to put the bones, just put the bones together and lay them together so they kind of become one.
Yeah, fix bones instantly, you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
there is one thing that concerns me though, is there is talk about, and I don't know if they're doing this now, they might be, taking away faulty genes from people, so that when they're born, they're actually born without any genetic condition.
oh, right.
Right, so they're going to do that in a lab. So you obviously, like, women would go through IVF.
Yeah.
And they would, under a microscope, take away the gene that causes the problem.
Yeah.
But there's an issue with that, is that if you do that, you're going to get less disabled people, less adaptions in the world, and it's not going to accommodate people. And so if you get somebody that gets disabled through life,
yeah,
they're going to run into very difficulty, challenges, because it's going to be less concern for them.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm not sure if that's a good idea, really. I'm not sure how I feel about tampering with people like that.
Yeah, and also whether it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's the morally.
I don't know whether it is right to tamper with nature. And,
no.
Sometimes it can be a dangerous thing, that.
There's a stigma, though, isn't there, that if you're born with a disability, you're going to have a really crappy life. That's going to be awful, and all you're going to feel is pain and all of that.
I suppose that's one way to play it. Then you also think, well, with a disability,
you have to adapt.
Yeah, you can still.
Yeah, and you can adapt to different situations, different ways of living. It doesn't have to be depressing.
Well, yeah, if you're brought up with they're brought up to believe that, being disabled doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we brought you up, wasn't it? We brought you up to believe that, you can still do what you want to do, you can still be dependent and whatever. We didn't wrap you up in cotton wool and tell you will never do this and you'll never do that.
No, and I appreciate that as well, because there are people that were brought up very differently.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and it's sad because those people haven't reached the potential because they've got so low self-esteem. I think that they can't do anything because
if you get that drummed into you, you're going to believe that.
I don't know. I think it's lack of education,
Yeah.
Because I think I was just lucky that you had the condition that I had because you knew what needed to be done to bring somebody up with that condition. But I think if you've got two parents that have never had a disabled child before, then you can run into difficulties of those parents like mothering them to the point where they just don't know how to do anything else or don't know how to bring
that's right,
out of fear. You can do if you want.
A couple left.
Equipment. Yeah.
Okay. Again, younger. Didn't use any aids at all. Just I was able to get about without the use of anything. And then it got to a point where I used just a stick, a normal walking stick, for a while. And then eventually it got to a point where that one stick wasn't really enough. I had crutches. And then, of course, it got to the point where, I needed a bit more.
Yeah, so it was a gradual thing. You needed this.
Yeah, that's right. And then, of course, eventually I needed a wheelchair and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but, see, that's where we differ, because I need a wheelchair now.
Yeah.
At the age of 28. I'm heavily reliant.
Yeah, I suppose I was lucky in that respect that I didn't need one for quite a long time, but yeah.
Okay. Do you have you had problems getting the equipment you need on the NHS? Because I know a lot of people
have had this problem in the past. Yeah. Especially something because they're so expensive, you have to buy it.
Yeah.
No, we can't give you it. You have to buy it. Oh, great.
Yeah, and you can't always afford that.
No.
No. It's not. Equipment is very expensive. And it's a real shame because.
Yeah. We should be able to get it really fun.
Very protected. I had an experience actually the other day, and I won't say who it was, but basically somebody thought it was appropriate to move my wheelchair.
Yeah, that's it.
And that really annoyed me, and I had to hold back and be like, just say to him, don't touch my wheelchair, please. Because it's not fair. It's an extension of me. People don't realise that I see it like as an extension of me, and I'm very protective of it. And if you were to break it or do something wrong, then I'd be very, very upset. So,
like you said, in a way, that is your way of getting about. They're your legs in a way, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they are.
So, yeah. Transport.
Yeah.
Again, when I was younger, trains weren't a problem. Even London buses weren't a problem. And that's strange because on a London bus, when you're travelling, when you're getting near your stop, they don't actually stop.
Yeah.
They slow right down.
And then you have to.
And you have to kind of get on a white pole and step off.
Yeah.
But they don't actually statically stop. So
they do now.
They do now, yeah, they have to now. But at that time they didn't. They just used to slow down and you have to get off. So sometimes I wonder myself how I managed that.
Yeah.
That I did. So and then so again it got gradually worse and I couldn't use the train and couldn't use the bus. But then of course while I was driving, I relied on my car. Up until recently, now the car's not even any good. I can't rely on the car anymore. That's got to go back.
Yeah, and that's because of how expensive it's been as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was talking to Will the other day in the interview about how I had to send the car back my end because of how financially, how things have gone up so much and the cost of food and stuff. And it's not fair because that money that you get for that should be going to the things that you need, but it's going to bills, household bills and food because it's got so expensive. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
Exactly.
But
I think it's not just the financial side of it. I mean, I've got to look at that now. Now I've done this. This leg's going to be, the rest of my life, this leg's going to be weak.
Yeah, so you fractured your leg recently.
Yeah, so, I don't think it's a good idea to risk, even though it's an automatic, this is the leg I use.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit weaker now.
Yeah, so I wouldn't take that risk. I think I've got to say to myself, well, as much as it hurts me, driving is no longer an option for me, and car's got to go back. At
the moment, I kind of rely on public transport, but like I said, they're a lot better now.
Yeah.
Because you've got ramps and people to support you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the railways have improved, I'll be honest with you.
Yes, yeah, they have.
I think so. It's a shame about National Express. They're
still not where they need to be, National Express, no.
You can't do even if you say, well, you couldn't travel on National Express because there's no ramps or anything. I
think there is on some, but you have to request the vehicles.
Oh, right.
And it's only manual wheelchair users, I believe. So, and you have to be able to transfer.
Oh, well, you are.
And then fold your chair. And a lot of people can't do that. And
no.
They have a power chair and they're static in that chair.
Yeah.
So they need something there where they can go in and get strapped down and all of that.
Yeah, of course.
And at the moment, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, National Express are not to that level yet.
No. One more.
Might as well do the last one then, ain't you?
Might as well. Hobbies.
Yeah.
I don't know really have many hobbies. I used to like marbles when I was a kid.
Yeah, you used to collect them, don't you?
Huh?
You watch the TV, that's still a hobby.
Yeah, I watch TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
Driving used to be a hobby, so
Mhm.
I don't know, shopping maybe to
Yeah.
some
I
extent.
mean, I suppose it's difficult to have hobbies when you're not very mobile. I mean, I might be wrong, so do correct me on that if I
Well,
am.
no, because you're like, I mean, things like sports and that,
Mm.
obviously, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Okay.
whereas most people say, oh, the football, the rugby, and that. Well,
Yeah.
something I could never do, so I never took an interest. So,
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I think I was quite lucky that I enjoy art because it's
yeah,
something I can do whatever day
yeah,
I'm having, whatever bad day. But I was explaining on another podcast that my hands often hurt as well,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
can't always do that. But when I
yeah,
am able to, I do like creating things and
yeah,
drawing and stuff
that's
when
good.
I can do it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But you've never been into art or anything like that.
No, I've never been good at it. I remember at school I was useless at art. I used to draw matchstick men and fucking things like that.
See, I found an interest in art when I was really young. Um, when I was
No,
in school, and then I obviously went to college and did it. I didn't really follow it through, unfortunately, because I got mentally ill for a bit. But I'm picking it up a little bit more now, I
yeah,
think, and
yeah,
enjoying it.
you do some good art. I've seen it.
Thank
You
you.
do. Yeah,
It's good to have a creative outlet.
yeah. I'm not good at art. So,
And I don't watch a lot of TV, really. Which a
well, you
little bit.
like a lot of factual programs, don't you? Like Dragon's Den
Yes,
and that
yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
do.
You
Yeah,
like that kind of thing.
yes, I do. Probably because you used to watch that kind of thing, or still do sometimes.
Well, I still do
Yeah,
Dragon's Den. I don't watch The Apprentice now.
I like The Apprentice.
Yeah,
Okay,
comment.
yeah. All right, well, we can leave it there if you want.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, well, thanks for the
Yeah.
interview. It's been good.
Okay. Thank you for watching my second episode of this disability podcast. Been nice to chat to my dad about his experiences and learn some stuff about how he lived his life when he was younger up until now. And give me a like and subscribe if you are interested in more interviews, because I'll be doing some more with some different people as we go along. So hit the subscribe button.